Hey folks, just a quick video on a camera, a reversing camera that I bought for my camper van. So it's BW reversing camera that I bought from Amazon. So it costs, I think it's on Amazon for about 26 or 27 pounds, whatever that converts into euro. So why did I buy it? Well, basically, when I had the option to buy I had an option to buy a reversing camera, but I just didn't think I needed it because the van has a full set of parking sensors, so I just assumed that I wouldn't need it. But over time I realized that actually it was probably a mistake, and what I should have bought was a reversing camera. So this screen here, so this is a VW California, and what it is that this screen here would have connected to the reversing camera that would have been in the registration plate, and when you hit reverse it would have turned on the camera. So I opted not to get it, like I said, because of the not thinking I would need it. And again, that turns out, I think, to be a mistake. So anyway, so over time I've realized that what I've decided to do is to invest in this reversing camera. So this is just a bit of a video on how I went about fitting it. So I did a bit of research online, and to be honest, I didn't want to spend a huge amount of money on a camera because, to be honest, I don't know if I trust the technology to last that long. Wear and tear, and this is the first one I wanted to buy, so I just wanted to try it out and see how hard it was to fit and stuff like that. So I think I'm all right with kind of fitting electronics and things like that, but I'd be nervous about pulling the van apart to try and fit one. So this is fitted to a somewhat temporary thing. So this is the actual monitor here, as you can see, and it's mounted. So what it is that this part here is a 3M sticky base, and it just sticks onto the thing. And then you can see underneath there, you can see the power wire. So that's the wire that feeds it the power, and it runs, the power wire runs down underneath and behind the dash. And what I have is I bought these two things here. So what they are is basically they're cigarette lighter adapters that I have the power running to the camera and the monitor independently. And then this unit here that I bought is just an adapter that holds up to 4 cigarette lighters, and it's powered. The power here then runs into the main cigarette lighter adapter, and that's really it. So again, the thing is, I probably could have pulled the dash out of the counter. I could have pulled the dashboard apart to wire this so it's all hidden, but I didn't really want to go down the road of doing that. So these, again, because I go to a lot of work and then the camera doesn't work, or there's some issues with it or something like that as well. So I was very conscious of that. So that's the power. So you can see this one of them turns on the camera, and one of them turns on the monitor. Now I could have wired them up together because it was simple enough to do, but to be honest, I just wired them up separately. And like I said, this adapter here I bought from Amazon here. So if I go back up and have a look at the monitor, so you can see now I'm going to push the buttons, so the monitor is coming to life. So there you go, you put them, so there's a bit of a delay there because I pushed one after the other, but you can see that they come on. And then the rear view then, as you can see, I have played around with the adjustment somewhat in trying to get the perfect angle. I had it looking further down into the ground, much more direct view behind the van, but I didn't like that. And then I had it looking further back, so I didn't like that either. So I've been trying to play around with the design of it to get this kind of sweet spot, which probably is where it is now. It's a 120-degree viewing angle, which is supposed to give you a very wide view. I think it could have been wider, to be honest. It's quite a narrow view, and you are relying still on the parking sensor, so it is quite a narrow view. But it's good enough, because really what I want to do is I just want to make sure that there's nothing behind me, or that way I can see. What I was doing was basically I was asking the wife to hop out and check if I was reversing. So this just gives you added confidence if you're on your own, and if you're on your own, and also if you're on your own doing reversing, or if you're just to be sure you can see what's going on behind you. So that's really it. So the wiring then runs from here down. I have it running down inside the door here, and a lot of the wiring in it is tucked into behind the bulkhead. So you can see down, you can just see a piece of the wire there as well. So what I have is I basically have the wire running down there and then along. So it runs behind the car seat, and then runs down here. So that's this is the inside of the van. So you can see for VW California, that's where the sink and the cooker and the fridge and all is. So this wire runs down along under that carpet there, and it runs to the rear of the van. And so that's the cable wire runs down to there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, and then what I'll do then is I'll pick it back up showing you the camera. Okay, so at this stage now I'm at the rear of the van, and you can see this is the camera that I've fitted. So these are the infrared sensors, and this is obviously the fisheye lens. And what I have here is basically these are circular clips that you'd use for, say, a hose attachment or something like that. And sorry, I'm just trying to get the white balance right. And sorry now. Okay, so then you have your so that's okay. So this is the camera, as I was saying, and so what I've done is I have these circular clips here, and what the circular clips are designed to do is basically hold it on to this as part of the bike carrying frame. And so I've done that again. So this way what I can do is I can adjust the nuts on the bike on this holder here, and this allows me then, it loosens up, and what it allows me to do is position the angling of the camera so that I can play around it. And I didn't want to screw it into place permanently, because what I'd envisaged is that over time I'd probably need to, on some level, adjust it. It seems to be waterproof. I've kind of sellotaped it up around the back in bits and pieces just to make sure that it is as waterproof as it possibly can be. I did notice a little bit of moisture in here one day, so all I can do is just see over time that it remains waterproof. So just to explain to you then, so what I've done is I have the wiring from the camera runs along here, and it runs up along the frame of the bicycle rack. So you shouldn't really leave electrical cable exposed, apparently, so that's why I've covered it. And what I did was I have it also positioned with cable ties. So I positioned it originally with cable ties, and then basically just used duct tape to cover it as much as possible. So it runs up here. Where am I now? So it runs up here along the frame, and then up, and then over the top, and then into the van here. So this is actually the top of the boot. I'll just back up there just to show you. So there's the positioning. So you can see the camera is there, and that's the bike frame. So I just opened the boot. So then what I have the wires comes in here, and then I basically, and again, this is on some level temporary, because just want to make sure that I go to all that trouble, and a camera that I've only spent about 30 quid on lasts. So then the wiring runs down the side of the van here, in through here, and then there's excess cable here, and then it runs up along the side, to the front of the van. So again, this is temporary. This is probably a bit of a concern, because I'm worried that obviously the cable might cut through at some stage or damage the rubber here, but it seems to be holding up okay. So yeah, so I could probably at some stage change the wiring, so to run the wiring back in through this grommet here, just pull it out and have the wiring probably come in through here somewhere. So yeah, so that's just part of that. So just back in the van here now. So overall, I'd say it gets a thumbs up for me, in that I think it's good. It's doing the job so far. There doesn't seem to be any issues with it. It was easy enough to fit once I'd kind of figured out how I was going to go about doing it. Like I said, I was probably more confident to pull the van apart to fit it. I would have done so. But again, it's a lot of trouble to go to for a camera that's so cheap. And to be honest, I just wanted to make sure that it stands the test of time. And maybe in 6 months or a year from now, I might retrofit it and then just put it in on a more permanent basis. This little mechanism here, you know, again, I could rewire the whole thing to be hidden as well. So there is an element here of, you know, neating this whole thing up. But, you know, and then it's obviously remembering to unplug this, because the van could be sitting for some time and I don't want to kind of draw on any kind of power and run it down the van battery. So yeah, so look, overall, I think it's a handy little piece to have in the van. It does the job, and yeah, that's it. So hopefully the video is of use. Thanks, bye.